Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another video. We're only 3 days into the month of February, and it's already been amazing in terms of Mandalorian hype and build-up. We've had new posters and images, one which even hinted at Grogu's new robes, and I covered those in my last video. But today, there's more. Strap yourselves in guys, it's gonna be a fun one. Some of the crew shirts and merchandise for Season 3 have leaked, and there are a couple of very interesting hints. And just before we dive into it guys, I will say this video contains minor spoilers, if you want to call them that. So the first crew shirt is reminiscent of the Phantom Menace with its design. We have Din Djarin's silhouette and his iconic N1 Naboo starfighter across it. And the reason I say it's reminiscent of the Phantom Menace is because back in '99, N1s were everywhere in toys and merch. Then we have an awesome Carl Weathers Predator tribute, but based on Greef Karga. Now the next set of crew designs are rather interesting. One of them has Max Rebo lives. Now as we know, the iconic Ortolan musician from Return of the Jedi survived the sail barge explosion and appeared in the Book of Boba Fett. But when Garsa's sanctuary exploded, we assumed he died along with the others, but apparently that's not the case. Max survived again, and we might see him in The Mandalorian Season 3. I should say this could just be an inside joke on set with the cast and crew, but I'm gonna wager that we do see Max Rebo in Season 3 when Din goes back to Tatooine. In the trailer, Din talks to Peli Motto and takes R5 with him, but he might stay there a little bit and reunites with Boba Fett and Fennec Shand, and they might decide to go for a drink at a bar, a new bar or drinking establishment, just like the destroyed sanctuary, and we might see Max Rebo play some tunes. And if Max made it out alive, imagine if Garsa Fwip survived too. I would love to see more Jennifer Beal in this show. It does make you wonder though, what is Max's secret? Did he have an agreement with the Pikes between Return of the Jedi and The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett? He might have made a deal with criminal syndicates. Even the bad guys know what good music is. So then we see Dave Filoni's character trap a wolf, with the saying "Force for the cure" on it. Now before we get too excited, there was similar crew merch before the Book of Boba Fett, and his character never appeared. We did get Max Lloyd Jones and Paul Sun-Hyung Lee, but we didn't get Dave Filoni as Trapper Wolf, so this could be meaningless, although I will say a Trapper Wolf appearance does make a lot of sense, because Season 3 is giving us more of the New Republic, with Carson Teva, maybe Mon Mothma, and others. And so finally we have the Mythosaur Mandalorian emblem on the makeup department sigil. Some very exciting stuff indeed, and remember guys, February is a short month, and we're now just 26 days away from Season 3, Chapter 17, a new season, continuing the story. This is the way. Now staying on the subject of Mando, I want to talk a little bit about a character who's very important to the series, but who doesn't get enough attention, R5-D4. Also known as Red by Luke Skywalker, this droid has been a classic astromech since his first appearance in 1977's A New Hope. George Lucas featured him in Attack of the Clones, and he's also appeared in a range of books and video games. Along with many classic characters, John and Dave brought R5 back to live action for The Mandalorian Season 1, 2, as well as 2 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett. At the moment he's on Mos Eisley with Peli Motto, and we saw him in The Mandalorian Season 3 final trailer. He's gonna be Din Djarin's astromech. Mando having an astromech is a far cry from his droid-hating days of old. The way Din Djarin hated droids is the same way that Kanan Jarrus didn't trust clones. He had a bad experience in his past. In Din's case, separatist forces in the form of super battle droids took over his homeworld and killed his parents. So he never trusted droids, but his journey has changed him. Acquiring R5 as a companion means he's evolving. He's opening up and realizing they aren't all bad. Din's met enough nice droids to change his mind. He even calls R2-D2 friend when looking for Grogu in the Book of Boba Fett on Ossus. Now R5-D4 is more important than you realise. He is not just your run-of-the-mill astromech. In a very literal sense, he is the unsung hero of the Skywalker saga. Because in A New Hope, he self-sacrifices so R2 can get Leia's message to Luke and Ben. R2 communicated to R5 that the galaxy would be doomed if he isn't sold to the right buyer. Even though he didn't understand the mission, he acknowledged it must be important, so R5 loosened the hinge on his headplate and redirected the lubricant into a mass just behind his photoreceptors. He then purposefully discharged the power, causing his head to pop off, and this led Luke to think that R5 had a faulty motivator, so instead they chose R2, and the rest is history. But R5 was rebuilt, and now he's in the care of Peli Motto, soon to be in the care of Din Djarin. R5 also has a very interesting action figure history, but that's for a different time. And so now guys, we have another Daisy Ridley story. I know it must feel as though we're talking about her way too much lately, but there has been a lot of press because she's promoting her new movie. But once again, she's addressed Star Wars questions about coming back to the franchise, and every time she has an interview, she's asked about it. You do expect it, Star Wars is the most successful and famous thing she's been in. It's been over 3 years since Star Wars Episode 9 The Rise of Skywalker, and so much has happened in that time, not just with Daisy Ridley, but with the Star Wars franchise on the whole. The films themselves did receive quite a bit of backlash, but generally speaking, Star Wars fans are looking forward to the 2025 movie, and when that one goes into production, we're gonna have a lot of Star Wars movie news, but for the time being, The Rise of Skywalker is the freshest thing in our memory when it comes to Star Wars on the big screen. Of course, Lucasfilm is focusing on the small screen stuff, the Disney Plus series, but Star Wars in the cinema will return. Now the other day, if you remember, Daisy Ridley spoke about The Acolyte. Well now, she was asked about returning to Star Wars. This is from an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, and she said the following: "Honestly, I have no idea. I feel like Rey's story ended in a wonderful way with the last film. It's already been an insane 3 years since that film came out. I feel like quite a different person. We've all gone through a massive change in the last 3 years, with lots of crazy things happening. So I don't really know if there are any plans, I just don't know, but ultimately I love my experience. I loved what I got to do and I love the people I got to work with. So should that happen again even once, amazing, because the dream is to really be around nice people that make you feel good and make you feel heard while you do good work." Daisy went on to describe some of the personal struggles she faced during filming, specifically on the sets of The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, saying she often felt that Lucasfilm, quote, chose the wrong person for the role, which ultimately impacted her experience. She almost had imposter syndrome. But she praises the environment on The Rise of Skywalker for being very safe. So the big question, is Ridley gearing up for a major Star Wars return? Well, a lot of leakers and scoopers seem to think so, but the credibility of some of those reports are questionable at best. And so finally, my dear friends, as you know, yesterday we had a big announcement for Star Wars Visions Volume 2, coming on May the 4th, but now we have the episode names and studio titles. The first one is called Sith by El Guerri. The writer-director is Rodrigo Blas, who worked on Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Ratatouille and WALL-E, not to mention Oscar-nominated La Luna, so some really big talent there. Cartoon Saloon are helming an episode called Screecher's Reach, Punk Robots have In the Stars, Aardman have I'm Your Mother, which is a very interesting title to say the least. Could it be a twist on The Empire Strikes Back? Studio Mir have Journey to the Dark Head, Studio La Cachette have The Spy Dancer, 88 Pictures have The Bandits of Golak, Dar Stadio have The Pit, and Triggerfish have Orsong or A-Song, I don't know how it's pronounced. And that one is by Nadia Daris and Daniel Clark from South Africa. Exciting stuff guys, share your thoughts on everything we spoke about in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. May the Force be with you always.